Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Anna, a registered South African nurse who is here to document her life, and if that is the type of content you would like to enjoy, please do hit the subscribe button and join this as Nurse Seed. So on today's video, I actually want to speak about what I love about working for the private sector and what I loved about working for the public sector, actually the advantages and the disadvantages of working for public and working for the private sector. So yeah, without wasting any time, please let us get into the video. You guys, we finally have an introduction video. I'm so in love with it. It was created by Skosana, and I will leave his Instagram handle as well as Facebook handle on my description box in case you want to use him for graphic design related things. So yeah, check his Instagram pages as well as Facebook if you would like him to create something for you. He creates websites, he creates logos, he basically creates almost everything that has to do with graphic design. Yeah, let us talk about what I love about working for the private sector. I'm going to talk about the advantages of working for the private sector and also talk about the disadvantages of working for the private sector, and later on speak about the advantages of working for the public sector as well as the disadvantages of working for the public sector. Someone asked me if I would encourage anyone to resign from the public sector and join the private sector. I don't think I would encourage people to do that. I had my reasons why I did that, and we are all different. We have different goals, so I can't really tell people that no, resign from this particular job and go to this particular one. I can't tell people to resign from private and go to public. I'm gonna firstly speak about the things that I love about private sector. The number one thing that I truly love about it is the availability of resources. You guys, literally here you put an order of something and it comes the following day. They don't waste time. They don't waste time. They have zero time to waste, and they have money to spend. I remember when I started my job, I think at the beginning of Jan, one of my big bosses from head office actually found me working in a gazebo, and I was sweating profusely, and he just said to me, you're sweating? And I was like, yeah, the gazebos are really hot. And he was like, oh, then it means I'll have to get you a mobile clinic. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I thought it was something that was going to happen like at the end of the year. You know how DOH would say, we are bringing this particular thing, and then it comes after 5 years. I thought that was what's gonna happen, but it didn't happen like that. Like a few weeks later, literally, I had a mobile clinic. They provide you with every resource that you need. The second thing that I feel is an advantage when it comes to the private sector, and also it depends on, when we are saying private sector, which private sector are you in? With the type of private sector that I'm in, it's actually different from other private sectors like your private hospital or stuff like that. I'm not talking about those because I've never worked in any of those. But with the type of private sector that I'm in, you grow really fast into the area of your passion. I think that anyone that works for the type of companies that I work for is someone that is passionate about community work, about HIV and AIDS, about TB. Even if you are passionate about the two of them, or maybe one of each, it's still the same. It's someone that is really passionate about those programs. So for you to be in this space, it gives you a lot of room, like huge amount of room for you to grow in your area of purpose. compared to the public sector. With the public sector, I would find myself doing what I love, but at some point I would be taken out of where I want to be, like being in the wellness clinic and go work somewhere else. Like for an instance, on days where the ANC nurse wouldn't be there, I would be the one who would have to go and relieve at the ANC. I didn't like ANC. I didn't give my energy and my all into an ANC client. ANC is antenatal care. Into a pregnant woman, I didn't give my all into a pregnant woman like I would to an HIV positive client or an adolescent and youth client. So with this particular type of job that I'm doing, or the private sector, you get to specialize and deal with one particular thing. Like, you are not all over the place. You're not going to see pregnant women. If you are hired to deal with men sleeping with men, that's exactly what you're going to be dealing with. And if you are hired to only be dealing with HIV prevention services when it comes to men sleeping with men, that's exactly what you're going to be dealing with. And obviously there are different companies that deals with different key population, right? Like your adolescent girls and young women, your transgender, and a lot of other ones. So this type of job, it really gives you room to grow, which was something so significant to me. As a person, we are meant to grow, not only physically, but we're meant to grow spiritually, we're meant to grow emotionally, we're meant to grow psychologically. We grow as human. And if there is stagnancy in life, then it means there's going to be no peace, there's going to be no joy, there's going to be no contentment, there's going to be no fulfillment. In this particular space that I'm in, I am given room for growth. Like, literally my bosses will throw you into this. You will sit in meetings, not just sit, but also be expected to voice out your own opinions about the program with people from the Provincial Department of Health, which is something that I wouldn't have to do, or I wouldn't have an opportunity to do when I was in the public sector. So yeah, I love that. I love the fact that they go beyond looking at the years of your experience in the profession, but they look at your capabilities and your abilities. I think they take their interviews very serious when it comes to hiring people. They make sure that they hire people who knows their story. Like, you should know the program, you should be passionate about the program. Obviously, you're not going to know something if you're not passionate about it, but if you are passionate about it, it will always be at the back of your mind. The other thing that I love about working for the private sector, it's the machankura. I obviously love the money. I love money. Personally, guys, I'm not going to lie about it. And the fact that they pay you your worth, or something close to your worth, for me, it's a round of applause for them. I hate that we must be exploited in South Africa as nurses. We go to school with the same amount of years that most graduates go to school for, and at the end of the day we get paid peanuts. I hate that about the South African government. I'm already actually talking about the disadvantages of the public sector. But yeah, I hate that. I love the fact that in private sector, most of the times, most of the companies that I know of private sector, they pay you your worth. They really do. They really do. If they are fair, they will definitely pay you your worth. I know there are some that people are not being paid their worth. For instance, these clinics that you find in a retail pharmacy. I know some of them, they don't pay nurses well at all. But I'm talking about companies that know their story, companies that know what type of people do they want. They literally pay you for your worth. I said at the beginning of this video that I loved the fact that resources are available. So they make the resources available so that you can be able to produce results. And if you are unable to produce results, then baby girl, you're gonna account, okay? You're definitely going to account, and obviously your excuses will not revolve around blaming the company or blaming your management. It will not revolve around them. It is all about you having executed the task that was needed from you. And yeah, that's the other thing that I love, the fact that there is a sense of accountability here. So whatever you do, you're doing it knowing very well, but at the end of the day, you're the one who needs to reason why you did it. Disadvantages. Let's speak about the disadvantages of working for the private sector, especially the type of company that I work for. The one thing that I feel it's a little bit of a disadvantage about working for the private sector is the fact that the contracts actually depend on the funding that comes from America. Like, if Americans don't give us money, then our contracts are terminated. If Americans give us money, then we have work to do and our contracts will continuously be in place. We will not run out of a job. We all know, especially for us who are in the interior of the country, that there's a particular NGO that is currently retrenching people. That is because it is lacking funding. And that can be a little bit stressful, obviously, because sometimes you don't even prepare for such. But what I love about where I am right now, they prepare you in time, you know, they tell you in advance that you need to prepare for such in case it ever happens to you as well. So yeah, that is the one disadvantage. The other disadvantage, oh you guys, it's the fact that we got 0 paid maternity leave. That ain't cute at all. So we got 0 paid maternity leave, but we've got the same number of maternity leave as the other places. So when you are gonna fall pregnant here, you really need to plan your pregnancy and like to save money for your pregnancy and for your postnatal, because yeah, you're not gonna be paid for a certain period of time, and it ain't cute at all. That's the other thing that I don't like about the private sector. I don't think there is anything else that I do not like about the private sector. One thing that it can be a little bit of a problem is the fact that here there is no comfort zone, you guys. You know, sometimes there's a point where you just want to relax and be in comfort. Unfortunately, in the private sector, you don't get to have any of that. So yeah, those are the things I like and dislike about the private sector. Now I'm going to speak about the public sector. What do I love about the public sector? I would definitely encourage anyone who has started out working to stay in the public sector, because in the public sector you are given an opportunity to learn. Public sector does not only expect you to give out as the private sector does. The private sector expects an output, baby girl. If they're gonna have an input in you, giving you the money that you need, giving you the resources that you need, they're also gonna expect an output. But with the public sector, you are given room to learn, you are given time to learn things, you are supervised, you are led. While in the private sector, you are often expected to lead than being led. You are expected to lead and you are expected to give reports. On the public sector side, you are given time to learn, you are given time. It's literally like somebody is holding your hand. Every time there is someone who is holding your hand, there is someone who's going to account when there is shortage of whatever in the clinic. Instead of you, you're not going to be the one who's going to account. While here, you are the one who is accountable for everything. That's what I love about the public sector, the fact that you are given room to learn, you are given room to make mistakes. Obviously not mistakes that are going to be fatal on clients, but mistakes that any human being can make. While the side mistakes are really minimal, some of the mistakes, if you make them, then it's going to come out of your salary, baby girl. In some companies, I know companies that would say it's going to come out of your salary. So with the public sector, there's nothing like that. The other thing I love about the public sector is the fact that you get to learn a lot of things, and it gives you an opportunity to find yourself. For instance, you are working in a clinic. In a clinic, there are different departments, and you get to rotate those departments. I think I've said this to you guys, that I managed to identify my passion when I was doing my my practicals as a student, because I was rotating different departments, and I was able to see what is it that I like and what is it that I didn't like, and I narrowed things down to what I truly want to do for the rest of my life. So the public sector also gives you that. It allows you to rotate different departments, and obviously you get to see what I like and what you like and what you don't like, and you narrow things down to who you want to be in the profession in the long run. That's what I love about it. The other thing that I love about it is the fact that they develop you with their own money. Even if it takes time, sometimes it really takes time for them to take people to school because of the long waiting list of people who wants to go to school. But the fact that they take you to school at their own expenses, and when they take you to school on RPL, they actually paying you your salary. They continue to pay you your normal salary that you were earning, whether you were a registered nurse, an EN, enrolled nurse, or an assistant enrolled nurse. You get to be paid what you were earning while you go to school, and they pay for your tuition. You only get to pay for accommodation, your books, as well as your uniform, which you still get uniform allowance, by the way, like you would in your normal workplace. So that's what I love, the fact that they develop their own stuff. They send staff to school. You don't necessarily have to pay for yourself from your pocket, while on this side we pay for ourselves. At DOH though, you also do have the option of paying, but you can wait if you want to wait. The other thing that I love about working for DOH, it is the trainings that they give you guys. Your NIM art trainings, we were sent by DOH. A lot of trainings, all the trainings that I have, all the short courses that I have, I was sent by DOH, and I paid absolutely nothing for those. So they develop you very nicely and very awesomely. But what I don't like about them is the fact that they develop you but still leave you in one place. I hated that. It's one of the reasons I left. What's the use of you developing me if you're not going to put me in a place where it will allow me to execute all that you've been investing in me? So I think it's one of the reasons DOH loses nurses so much, experienced nurses, because what's the use? I have a friend of mine who also left DOH recently, and she left because she was an advanced midwife, but they wouldn't give her a post. They would not allow her to practice where she wished to practice and use the skills that she acquired at school. So she left. So really it's sad to watch. Actually, it's really sad to watch. The other thing that I hate about working for DOH, it is mostly the type of people that you get to find yourself working with. DOH is such a comfort zone, you guys, for a lot of nurses. Nurses who are working for DOH, most of them are not driven. I'm not gonna lie. And if you're not one of them, God for you, you are just like the rest of us, who some decided to leave and some are still there. We do have nurses who are not in a comfort zone at DOH, but a lot of the nurses at DOH, they are in a comfort zone, and some of them, they are comfortable because they know they're gonna pension there. They're just waiting for their pension. They are comfortable. They are not purpose-driven. They are not ambitious. And sometimes when they see you being ambitious and when they see you being purpose-driven, they develop some animosity towards you, which to me, it really doesn't make sense, because no one stops you from being ambitious and from being purpose-driven. But when someone comes and becomes that, you develop some animosity towards them. It is really wrong. I hate it. It's one of the reasons that a workplace ends up being toxic. I was saying that it's one of the reasons that workplaces become toxic, working with people who are against who you are becoming, but at the same time, they don't become anything. They're not planning on becoming anything, but you bother them when you are trying to be something or to make something out of your life. The other thing that I do not like about DOH is the management. Really, the operational managers that I've loved at DOH, they are less than the number of fingers on my hands. Yeah, operational managers at DOH are not the best managers you can find on earth, you guys. Managers at DOH really needs to do better. I think the system of not wanting to put young people in leadership position is what makes it to be like that. On the private sector, they, like I said, they really don't care how old you are. Disheartening that in DOH they are not willing to get young people in leadership positions. I think it's also one of the reasons that there is absolutely zero innovation in DOH. You will wait for something, you will request something, and then it will come when you are going on pension. You will request resources, they will be implemented, or they will come when you are going on pension. We definitely need more young leaders so that innovation can come into place. So as a young nurse, it becomes difficult to work with people who do not understand the language that you're speaking. As much as we have love language, we also have workplace language, where the age really becomes an issue between you and your manager, and sometimes they tend to look at you like, you're still a baby, you know nothing about this. And sometimes you find you actually know way more than they do. So definitely those are the disadvantages of working for DOH, where you get to have a manager who has zero innovation in their bones and in their fibers, and they just want to do things the way Florence Nightingale was doing things. So these are my own opinion, and I am not saying we should leave your job to go work for private or to go work for government. You know what are your needs, you know where you want to go with your life and your future and your career. So I hope this might assist you to take a direction that will work for you, because that's what it is all about. It is all about your mental health, it is all about your growth, it is all about your stability and your peace as well as your happiness. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a massive thumbs up and comment down below if you have things that you think you can share with us that you love about public versus private, or private versus public, and also the disadvantages. I love you guys so very much, and I'll see you on my next one.